Welcome to GCR for Dummies. It is May 6, 2025. Let's look at today's news from Professor William Liebenberg, prepared by Martin Stein. Please like, share and subscribe. Join our Telegram group in the comments below. Thank you. Let's go. The GCR law. This is what was planned during the first 100 days of Trump in office. Looks like national fake news agencies' broadcast licenses are going to get pulled. Federal Communications Commission Chairman Brendan Carr just dropped this huge bomb. Let's watch this short clip.
So are you threatening to pull their license? Wouldn't that be a pretty drastic step?
Well, it's not a threat. That's a penalty that is in the Communications Act that if you don't...
But when was the last time the FCC pulled a broadcast license?
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I think that's part of the issue. If you step back, trust in the national mainstream media is at an absolute low right now. It's not just my view. Jeff Bezos himself did an op-ed where he said that. But what's really interesting is that actually local stations, local TV stations have a lot of trust. And so the agenda that I'm trying to run at the FCC is to empower those actual local television stations to serve the public interest. Because what we've seen is you've got national news media, ABC, NBC, CBS, and they're exercising more and more control over those local TV stations. And I don't think that's a good thing for the country. So we're trying to reverse that.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary then dropped this harvest bomb of what is coming. Let's watch this short clip.
On President Trump's first day in office, he vowed to usher in a new golden age for our country. A golden age America deserves a golden age economy. So for the past 100 days, we've been preparing the soil. We have uprooted government waste and harmful regulations. We have planted the seeds of private investment, and we have fertilized the ground with fresh tax legislation. Next, we harvest, and we want you to harvest with us. America is the Schelling point of global finance. We have the world's reserve currency and the deepest and most liquid capital markets and the strongest property rights. For these reasons, the United States is the premier destination for international capital, and the administration's goal is to make it even more appealing for investors like you.
Did you know? The U.S. is actually more severely attacked from within by domestic combatants, that is traitors in office. 89% of their senators in Congress hold dual citizenship with Israel. Ask yourself who are the real traitors to the country, sacrificing American soldiers for the benefit of a foreign country's riches. Members of U.S. politics who hold dual U.S./Israeli citizenship. Saving Israel for last. Do you know why Q military intelligence stated this? Dual citizenship, loyal to whom? More on traitors. Q Military Intelligence Post 1824. Ask yourself, if the U.S. gross domestic product is greater than the total of all others combined, group of 7, which allows us to negotiate from a position of strength, why would previous presidents knowingly unequally distribute America's wealth away, by making unbalanced trade deals? Why was America's wealth being distributed during World War? Why was the American taxpayer essentially subsidizing the rest of the world? The American taxpayer has no equal anywhere in the world. Access to the American consumer, U.S. market, is essential for every major country in the world. America was systematically being weakened. Our military was systematically being weakened. America is back to leading. America first. This is what happens when pouts have no strings attached. Brics GCR Nations Alliance. 24 countries formally apply to join the Brics Alliance in 2025. The Republic of the Congo is the 24th country to have formally submitted its application to join the Brics Alliance in 2025. Denis Sassou Nguesso, the President of the Republic of the Congo, explained that the Congo shares the same ideology as the alliance, and can be of great interest in decision-making. The decision to induct the Republic of Congo, and the other 23 countries, will be consensus-based by the members. The 17th summit will be held on July 6 to July 7 this year in Brazil's capital city, Rio de Janeiro. July 22 Crypto Regulations, Payment Systems. ISO 20022 has 2 dates. July 14 is when the FedNow goes live. That means, an instant payment service that the Federal Reserve offers to banks and credit unions to transfer funds to their customers. November 22 is when the coexistence between SWIFT is over, and ISO 20022 fully takes over. Ripple XRP, Stellar XLM, and 6 other crypto coins are already ISO 20022 compliant. Ripple pledges $25 million in Ripple USD to support U.S. classrooms and teachers. Patriotic and constitutional education incoming. SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce says, tokenization is a technology that could significantly transform financial markets. The task force will be holding a roundtable discussion on May 12, discussing tokenization and decentralized finance. Tokenization is a technological development that could substantially change many aspects of our financial markets, Peirce said. I look forward to hearing ideas from our panelists on how the SEC should approach this area. The SEC announced the launch of the Crypto Task Force back in January, shortly after Trump's inauguration. The task force is tasked with developing a comprehensive and clear regulatory framework for crypto assets. The group has been busy in its first few months of service, working to create a more friendly environment for the digital asset industry. The SEC itself has done the same, dropping several high-profile crypto cases and investigations in the last few months. Tokenization of assets is the process of converting an asset's value into a digital token, using blockchain technology. The Seven Kingdoms. The importance of May 7. When the Catholic Church elects a new pope, the world watches not for a press conference or social media post, but for rising smoke from a small chimney atop the Sistine Chapel. If the smoke is black, no new pope has been chosen. If it is white, a decision has been made, habemus papam, we have a pope. Vatican firefighters install a chimney on the Sistine Chapel roof, ahead of the May 7 conclave to elect Pope Francis' successor. Let's watch this short clip. The Vatican has confirmed that cardinals will meet at St. Peter's Basilica on 7th of May to gather inside the Sistine Chapel. Now, the Holy See is the sovereign entity in international law. It effectively consists of the Pope and his government of the Universal Church, and has long been recognized in international law as a guarantee of the independence of the Pope and the operations of the Church from interference by any national government. Vatican City or the Vatican City-State is the territory within the City of Rome, which is recognized as an independent city-state under the Lateran Treaty, between the Holy See and Italy. Vatican City has its own laws, police, and courts, but it is wholly governed under the authority of the Holy See. 3 corporations run the world. 1. City of London, Economy. 2. District of Columbia, D.C., Military. 3. Vatican City, Spiritual. These 3 cities on earth come under no national authority. They have separate laws, they pay no taxes, they have their own police force, and even possess their own flag of independence. Together, they control politicians, the courts, educational institutions, food supply, natural resources, foreign policies, economies, the media, and the money flow of most nations, as well as 80% of the world's entire wealth. This is the cabal the Q military intelligence alliance is fighting against. Their ultimate aim is to build a totalitarian rule on a global scale, where people will be divided into rulers, and the ruled after they have depopulated the world to numbers they wish to rule over. The Vatican's billions are in Rothschild-controlled Bank of England, and the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. The money possessed by the Vatican is more than banks, corporations and even governments. This guide to the financial institutions of the Holy See gives you deep insight into what and who is involved. The City of London houses. 1. Rothschild controlled the Bank of England. 2. Lloyd's of London. 3. The London Stock Exchange. 4. All British banks. 5. The branch offices of 384 foreign banks. 6. 70 USA banks. 7. Fleet Street's newspaper and publishing monopolies. 8. Headquarters for worldwide Freemasonry. 9. Headquarters for the worldwide money cartel known as the Crown. The City of London is controlled by the Bank of England, a private corporation owned by the Rothschild family, after Nathan Rothschild. The City of London, directly and indirectly, controls everything. Mayors. Councils. Regional councils. Multinational and transnational banks. Corporations. Judicial systems, through the Old Bailey, Temple Bar, and the Royal Courts of Justice in London. The International Monetary Fund. World Bank. Vatican Bank, through N.M. Rothschild & Sons London Italian subsidiary Terlonia. European Central Bank. United States Federal Reserve, which is privately owned and secretly controlled by 8 British-controlled shareholding banks. The Bank for International Settlements in Switzerland, which is also British-controlled and oversees all the reserve banks around the world, including our own, and the European Union and the United Nations Organization. Question: do you begin to understand the gigantic task Q military intelligence is busy fighting? The Pope trump card must not be taken lightly. He is the exchequer, no matter who the next Pope is. The GESARA law. Where are we heading to? Wait till the 6,000 patents in the Kardashev scale technology is released. This is where GESARA will take us to. Let's watch this short clip.
We believe, as an industry, that in the next 1 year, the vast majority of programmers will be replaced by AI programmers. We also believe that within 1 year, you will have graduate-level mathematicians that are at the tippy-top of graduate math programs. So that's 1 year, okay? What happens in 2 years? Well, I've just told you about reasoning, and I've told you about programming, and I've told you about math. Programming plus math are the basis of sort of our whole digital world. So the evidence and the claims from the research groups in OpenAI and Anthropic and so forth is that they're now somewhere around 10 or 20% of the code that they're developing in their research programs is being generated by the computer. That's called recursive self-improvement, is the technical term. So what happens when this thing starts to scale? Well, a lot. One way to say this is that within 3 to 5 years, we'll have what is called general intelligence, AGI, which can be defined as a system that is as smart as the smartest mathematician, physicist, artist, writer, thinker, politician. I call this, by the way, the San Francisco consensus, because everyone who believes this is in San Francisco. It may be the water. What happens when every single one of us has the equivalent of the smartest human on every problem in our pocket? But the reason I want to make the point here is that in the next year or two, this foundation is being locked in, and we're not going to stop it. It gets much more interesting after that. Because remember, the computers are now doing self-improvement. They're learning how to plan, and they don't have to listen to us anymore. We call that superintelligence, or ASI, artificial superintelligence. And this is the theory that there will be computers that are smarter than the sum of humans. The San Francisco consensus is this occurs within 6 years, just based on scaling. This path is not understood in our society. There's no language for what happens with the arrival of this. That's why it's underhyped. People do not understand what happens when you have intelligence at this level, which is largely free.
That sums up your Tuesday news. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.